What is going on, college basketball fans? We got our updated Power 35 rankings for week 5 of college basketball. Before we get into it, I just want to say subscribe if you guys are new. We do a ton of college basketball content here on the channel. We do our updated power rankings every single Monday. We do a college basketball podcast every single Thursday, and a bunch more college basketball content here every single day. You don't want to miss it, so make sure you guys hit that sub button. Super close to 2,000. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, and comment down below your thoughts and opinions on my rankings. Very interested to see your guys' opinions down below. Without further ado, let's get it started. Alright, so here is the Dannyology 35 rankings for week 5, and a lot of changes, but our top 2 teams right now are the same. And at number 1, we still do have the Purdue Boilermakers. No reason to move them down up to this point, in my opinion. Very, very solid team there. Well coached. They're still dominating teams. They still have solid wins over Duke, Gonzaga, West Virginia. All those which they won by double digits. Purdue in here at number 1. At number 2, we do have the Virginia Cavaliers. This week they picked up a big win on the road against Michigan. You say, Michigan, they're not that good. They're not even in your rankings. But Michigan is a solid team. I expect them to climb back up and maybe join these rankings here eventually. But right now, Michigan just don't have that good win yet. But Virginia faced adversity in a tough environment there in Ann Arbor, and I think that is still very impressive that they were able to come out of there with a win. So they're still up here at number 2. At number 3, I do have the Texas Longhorns, and yes, they do have 2 very, very good wins against Gonzaga and Creighton, but both those come in at home in the brand new Moody Center for Texas. They have not really faced a tough opponent on the road or even at a neutral site yet. So I still have them ranked really high up here at number 3, but I don't want to put them above Virginia or Purdue just yet. I need to see them pick up a big win. They play Illinois tomorrow. If they can get that win, I'll be very impressed, because I think this Illinois team is very, very good. But we'll see. For now, they're in here at number 3. At number 4, we do have the UConn Huskies, and UConn, maybe the deepest bench in the country. I mean, they have guys, a ton of guys who can come in and give them very valuable minutes. They got Sanogo down low, dominating the glass. He's added a three-pointer to his bag now, and he's doing great things. Also, Hawkins has been killing it from behind the arc with the three-pointers, Tristan Newton as well, and UConn just looks very solid. They got a good win over Oklahoma State this week. They're staying up here in the top 5 at number 4. And at number 5, moving up a few spots here because teams ahead of them lost. Houston, potential through the roof. I mean, they look like a very solid team. I'm just not sold on them yet because, well, I'm sold on them as a very good team. I just can't put them above the 4 teams ahead of them as of right now, because they haven't really played anybody that good, and the 4 teams ahead of them have proven themselves against really good teams already. Their best win might be St. Mary's now, which, they barely won that one at home because they were forced to play St. Mary's basketball, and I guess you can say that's kind of a good thing. They found a way to win in that one, but we'll see. They have a few really good tests coming up. I think they play Virginia soon and also Alabama, so we're going to find out soon. If they stay undefeated through those games, then they might be number 1 for me. So we'll see. Houston in at number 5 here for me as of right now. At number 6, we do have Maryland, and they're jumping up I think 9 spots from 15 to 6 this week, because the only thing they were missing for me was a marquee win. Are they for real? And they defeated Illinois. I know it was at home in College Park, a good environment there, but they were still able to get it done. And I think this Illinois team is very good, so a very impressive win there for Maryland. And they also still have 2 other good wins against Virginia Tech and against St. Louis, which I do have in my Power 35 as well. And not only did they defeat St. Louis, they blew them out. So I think this Maryland team is for real. I'm moving them up here to number 6. At number 7, I do have the Arkansas Razorbacks. My first one-loss team here on this list. Their only loss is to Creighton, and that was in the Maui. And that Creighton team was a lot better than the Creighton team we're seeing now. We'll get to Creighton later, but I think they're just at a low point. I think that loss will look a lot better here in the future once Creighton kind of gets things going again here soon. I definitely think they will. At number 8, we do have Tennessee. Now, Tennessee, very impressive win when they got the win against Kansas. I mean, they were dominating that game, shutting Kansas down, and we haven't really seen anybody do that up to this point because Kansas, they just blew out Seton Hall at home, and they had a good win over Duke earlier. And Tennessee, that was very impressive. You see that big question mark on their record, though. They lost to Colorado. Like, what happened in that game? Similar to Arizona, which we'll go ahead and talk about as well. They're coming in right behind them because Tennessee and Arizona, both very, very good teams, but got a question mark loss. This week, Arizona did lose to Utah, which is their question mark loss. But still, I still think they're a very solid team. They got a good wins over San Diego State and Creighton. Arizona they were putting up like 100 points a game. Very, very solid. They just had a slip up, similar to TCU, and they're in here at 8-9. Kansas, their only loss is to Tennessee there. They still have a really good win over Duke, and they also blew out Seton Hall this week as well. They're in here at number 10 for me. I still want to see them go up against some of these other top teams because I'm not sure how they would do against anyone ranked above them. I think all those teams would probably beat Kansas. I'm interested to see how they would do against like a Maryland. I think Maryland might win that game. I think they're better. But Kansas in here at number 10 right now. At number 11, I do have the Alabama Crimson Tide. That 4 overtime win against North Carolina right now, not really looking as good, but still as a team, they're very solid. They got Mark Sears, they got Brandon Miller, star freshman, they got Quinterly. Solid team that Nate Oates has there in Bama. They're coming in here at number 11. At number 12, we got Indiana. They took a tough loss this week to Rutgers. What happened in that one? Kind of similar to Tennessee and Arizona. I still think Indiana is a very, very good team. They got a tough win on the road against Xavier, and again, they beat North Carolina, but that's not looking as good right now. I still think Indiana is a very, very good team. They're in here at number 12. We'll see if they can bounce back and continue to be dominant after that tough loss to Rutgers. At number 13, we do have the undefeated Auburn Tigers, and the problem with Auburn is they just really haven't played anybody that good yet. Their best win is against St. Louis and a close one, but other than that, they didn't go to any invitational tournaments during Feast Week, anything like that. They didn't really have any tough opponents yet, but we'll find out more about this Auburn team soon once they face some tougher opponents. For now, they're in here at number 13. At number 14, we got Illinois, and Illinois, I like this Illinois team. I don't want to punish them too hard for that loss at Maryland. It's a tough environment, and I still think they're a very solid team, and their only other loss other than Maryland is also to Virginia, which I'm very, very high on them, as you can see. So I like this Illinois team. I'm interested to see how they do against Texas. I'm going to have my predictions for that Jimmy V Classic out later today, so make sure you guys go check out that. But Illinois, Texas, it's a good matchup. We'll see what happens. Right now we got Illinois coming in here at number 14. At number 15, we got the Duke Blue Devils. They got a good win over Ohio State this week. Kind of building. I'm still looking for those freshmen, Derek Lively and Derek Whitehead, to get going. Once that happens, I think this Duke team is going to be a lot more scarier. They're in at number 15. At number 16, very up and down week here for the Baylor Bears. They're down a few spots for me, but they still got a good win over Gonzaga on a neutral site court this week. It was a very close game, which is why you see Gonzaga right behind them. But earlier in the week, they got blown out against Marquette, which is, a little bit troubling how much they got dominated in that game. But Marquette, everything was working for them that night. But they are down some spots, but still up here at number 16. Right behind them, we have Gonzaga. 3 losses already up to this point in the season. We're not used to seeing that from Gonzaga. They lose to Baylor, they did lose to Texas, and they did lose to Purdue. All teams ranked ahead of them, but Baylor, that was a close game. Gonzaga definitely had opportunities to win that one. Drew Timme got shut down till the very end of that game, and yeah, they're in at number 17 right there. At number 18, we do have Iowa State. I'm a little bit wishy-washy on this Iowa State team, but they did just defeat a undefeated St. John's team coming in. So I think that was a pretty good win, and they still have that win over North Carolina, which again isn't looking as good now, but still they're in here at number 18. Their only loss is to UConn, even though they got dominated in that game. That still is their only loss. At number 19, we do have San Diego State. San Diego State, very solid team. They went 2-0 in this week. They're up a few spots here. At number 20, we do have TCU. They're up a lot of spots for me, and let me explain. They've been injured. They finally got their guys back, and they have been killing it. Yes, they only have that one very, very, very bad loss, which a lot of people are punishing them for. And they still should have won, even though they weren't healthy. But they're getting healthy now. We're seeing the TCU team we all thought we'd see preseason. And I'm moving them up, especially because a lot of teams that were ahead of them lost this week. So they deserve to be pushed up. They're up here at number 20. And you could argue, that TCU might be similar to a Tennessee and Arizona and Indiana. They have that one bad loss, but other than that, I know TCU is probably worse because it's not even a Power 6 conference team, but still, TCU in here at number 20. They are behind those teams because it is probably worse, but they were facing injuries. They look really, really good now, and I'm putting them up at number 20. I think they deserve it. They've been killing it lately. At number 21, we do have Kentucky. They're up a good amount of spots after their big win over Michigan. We'll see if they can finally build on this and become that Kentucky team we were all thinking of. That boy Carson Wallace is a star. That looks really promising for this Kentucky team. We'll see if they can keep it up. They're in at 21. At 22, we have UCLA. They got a couple of conference wins actually this week against Stanford and Oregon. They're looking pretty good. Still, their only two losses are to Illinois and Virginia. They're up here at number 22. At number 23, we do have Mississippi State, and they are undefeated. They have some decent wins on the year, but nothing to write home about. They've been playing very good defense. No opponent has scored over 55 on them yet this year. We'll see if they can keep that up. I'm interested to see them play some good opponents here soon. And we'll find out if this Mississippi State team is for real. But they're definitely looking like a tournament team at this point. At number 24, kind of similar, we have UNLV. They have a good win over Dayton. But Dayton really hasn't been what we thought they were going to be up to this point. But UNLV is undefeated. They're in here at number 24. At number 25, we do have the Miami Hurricanes. Nigel Pack, not really playing what we expected him to be. But Norchad Omier down low has been excellent. Isaiah Wong also very, very good. Their only loss is to Maryland. Miami's in here at number 25. At number 26, we do have Creighton. And Creighton, they just lost to Nebraska, and they also lost to Texas this week. That Texas game, they still had opportunities to win, even though they were shooting terribly all the way throughout that game and not really playing their best. The Nebraska loss is very, very bad, though. We'll see if they can bounce back. This is not the same Creighton team we were seeing in Maui and the start of the year that was looking like a top 5 team in the country. I think they'll work their way back up, though. I think they're just at a down point, and maybe after this upset loss, they'll get woken up now and start to be that dominant team that we saw again. I'm interested to see how they'll play this week. We'll see, but now they drop pretty far, all the way from in my top 10 down to 26 with 2 losses this week, one being a very, very bad loss. So they're down here at 26. At number 27, we do have the College of Charleston coming in here. Their only loss is to North Carolina, but they beat a team that beat North Carolina, and that is Virginia Tech. So Charleston in at 27, right behind them, the team that they beat, and the team that beat North Carolina this week is Virginia Tech. So they're in at 28, right behind them. At number 29, we do have Ohio State, and this Ohio State team, I'm so back and forth on them, on if they deserve to be in these rankings, if they don't. For now, I'm going to have them at 29. I need to see them play some more teams. They lost to Duke this week. Their best win is still probably against Texas Tech, which I do think is a pretty good win. They also blew out Cincinnati. So Ohio State, I'm back and forth on right now. They're at 29 for me. Still haven't proven to be a very good team. To me, though, I got to see more. At number 30, we do have Wisconsin. Up and down week for Wisconsin. They end up falling in my rankings, actually. I did have them in my top 25. They're down at 30 because they did lose to Wake Forest. Tyree Appleby was going crazy in that game. And then Wake Forest lost, and that didn't look good. But Wisconsin, they bounced back from the Wake Forest loss and won at Marquette, an in-state rivalry there. So that was a big win for Wisconsin. If they would have lost to Marquette also, they probably wouldn't have been in my Power 35, but that was a really good win, especially seeing what Marquette did earlier in the week at home as well. So that was a good win there for the Badgers. At number 31, we do have Xavier, and yes, they have they do have a good amount of losses, but they got a big win against West Virginia this week, which I think I had at 29 last week. I think Xavier is a very solid team, and they were close throughout all those games against Indiana, against Gonzaga. They were close in these games, so I still think Xavier is really good, and they're up here at number 31 for me. At number 32, we do have the undefeated Missouri Tigers. They just haven't really played anybody good yet, so we'll see if they can continue to win. If they do that, they'll continue to climb. Right behind them, we do have the Marquette Golden Eagles, and Marquette, again, very up and down week, right? They blew out Baylor by 30 points, and then they bounced back off of that by losing to Wisconsin, and a tough one. I still think they deserve to be ranked, especially how dominant they looked against Baylor. I mean, that looked like a VCU Shaka Smart team, and we'll see if they can continue to pick up some momentum, but right now they're all the way down here at number 33, but they weren't ranked last week, so I guess they are moving in the right direction, but that win's going to help them out all the way to March. So at number 34, we do have the Iowa Hawkeyes. They lost to TCU. That is their only loss, but other than that, they've been killing it. Chris Murray is a superstar, just like his brother Keegan was last year. Really stepped it up. Iowa's in at 34. And at 35, we do have St. Louis. St. Louis, Yuri Collins has been killing it, passing the ball like crazy. He had 20 assists in a game. They look very, very solid. They need to pick up some better wins, but for now, they're in at 35. And yeah, that does it for the Power 35. My teams to watch, teams that are close, teams that I feel are on the rise. We have West Virginia. They were in my top 35 last week. Lost to Xavier, but they were winning on the road in Xavier. Tough environment throughout that game. It wasn't until the very end that Xavier took control, and West Virginia kind of blew it, which isn't good on West Virginia's part, but I definitely think that they will be able to climb back into these rankings if they continue to get some wins, especially once they get into Big 12 play. Same thing with Texas Tech. Once they get into Big 12 play, if they can pick up some good wins, they can definitely get into the top 35 here very soon, because we've seen their potential defensively. They look very solid. Also, Arizona State, they got a big win over Michigan earlier in the year, which they blew Michigan out, and they only have one loss on the season. So look out for Arizona State. They could be on the rise. Rutgers, big win against Indiana this week at home. Very, very good win. They dominated that game. Look out for Rutgers. They're fully healthy now. Caleb McConnell, big defensive presence. They got a really good center in Amorie. Look out for the Scarlet Knights. And also Utah, big win this week over Arizona. We'll see if they can build on that, if they are for real or if it was just kind of a fluky win. So we'll see. Utah also, I'm keeping my eye out on them. Let me know what you guys think about my rankings down below in the comment section. And yeah, guys, subscribe if you guys are new. Drop a like. And thank you so much for watching. I'm out.